So the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying that living being is wandering this. No need for translation.
I don't think everybody knows English.
The living being is wandering this material world. Pramanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiva. Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. That living being is wandering, but only the very fortunate living being, Bhagavan Jiva, is getting the special mercy of Guru and Krishna. And this special mercy is to get the seed of creeper of Bhakti Latana, the creeper of devotional service, devotion for the Supreme Lord. So Prabhu was one of such fortunate living beings. Bhagavan, in Vedic literature explained, we have two kinds of living beings. Durbhagya and Subhagya. Durbhagya is misfortunate living being, and Subhagya is fortunate living being. And the misfortunate living being is just like the one who is being spotted by Parvati, and she was very compassionate to him, and she said, "Look, this." She said to Shiva, "Look, this Jiva is so unfortunate. That, why don't you help him, Shiva? Please help him." And he said, "Actually, this living being is so fortunate, and I will show you. So unfortunate, I will show you." And he had taken the wealth in a bag and put on the road. And just at the moment when he is about to reach that wealth, he closed his eyes and went around that wealth. And that is human form of life. If we miss this, we are just like that person. We close the eyes and we want to be immersed in this oasis of opulence in Emirates, and we close and we don't want to hear. We don't want to be fortunate. The fortunate is the one who have got that mercy, Guru Krishna Prasada, and it's very, very extraordinary mercy. Very extraordinary. I will on the end speak about that, but we should understand what is the Gauranga Kripa, the Karuna Avatar, who has brought this, and the Srila Prabhupada have given us this knowledge. So Prabhu was one such a fortunate living being, and why fortunate? Because the person who have got the mercy of Lord Gauranga, he can overcome the misery of material world, the Mrityu Loka, and enjoy eternal bliss and nectar, Amrita. In Sri Upanishad, he said, Vidyam cha Vidyam cha. We need to understand both Vidya and Avidya. And sometimes we are just learning knowledge, but we don't see the misery of this world. And this doesn't create detachment. And we are still so much attached in this world. And the process is actually to create the attachment for the Lord and to create detachment of this world also, because we have people who are detached from this world, like Mayavadis, but they are not attached to spiritual world. And we have people who are attached to this world, but detached from from spiritual world. These are generally karmis, no? But we have also sahajiyas. They are attached to spiritual world. They speak about Radha Krishna, but they are not detached from this world. So we need to also become detached from this world, not to be sahajiyas. Otherwise, we're gonna take everything again.
They're calling. We can't hear. Sorry.
Oh my God!
Please, if you not hold for some time.
Yeah, I will hold. I will hold. No, you will feel tired. Like this, it will be nice. Prabhu, if you can give any signal that you can hear us now. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Oh, he's raising.
Okay.
Jai. Thank you so much, and kindly excuse us. So we need to become detached of this world. And detachment is not renunciation. People go into renunciation and they become dry in their heart. And Gaudiya Vaishnava Sannyas is not to create dry renunciate, it's to create the devotee who is very much attached and affectionate He's attached to Krishna and affectionate to the Vaishnavas and the whole world. So that is the whole process, actually. Otherwise, we will have some kind of how to say wrong mentality in our devotional approach. So the avidya side is created by Lord Brahma. Is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Panchavidya of tamas, tamisra, andatamisra, moha, maha, moha, and tamas. There is not only one tamas, 5 kinds. Tamisra is envy on Ishvara. Envy, why he is so great, why we are not so great, why he is Vibhutattva and we are Anutattva, very small. Then Tamisra, Andatamisra, being covered with identification in this world. Then Tamas, thinking that death is the end. Moha, being bewildered with that identification. I belong to this nation, to this community. And Mahamoha is finally thinking with my I and mine, aham mameti, and completely forgetting about reality. So we have forgot what is reality, and what is actually reality as per Vedic scriptures, nothing else but rasa, is relationship. People are in modern science, they're thinking, what is reality? And through reductionism, they want to find the smallest particle, and I think by that way they're going to understand what is reality. But Vedic way of understanding of reality is complementarism, where Purusha and Prakriti unite and become complement to each other. And in that way, acting, we can understand what is reality. Reality is not something outside of consciousness. The material world by itself is meaningless, and we apply different kinds of meanings in life and want to fulfill them. So reality is complementarism, and this is what we want to achieve. Complete union with Krishna. Be as a small Prakriti, Jiva Prakriti, want to unite with Krishna. In order to achieve that, we need to overcome avidya, that from tamas to mahamoha, different kinds of illusions. And in this world, we don't like that. No one appreciates that, because that means separation from beloved person. But separation in spiritual world is more appreciated than presence, because separation is reminding us on connection with that person. And we see that devotees of Vrindavan, they are more appreciating separation, viraha, viyoga, than yoga or sambhoga. They more appreciate that, because it's eternal world, and separation is just expectation of a moment where we're gonna reunite with the person. But in this world, there is no reunion after the death. And I think it was actually gopis cursing destiny, cursing providence. How you can have created a world like this, that people love each other so much, and in one moment they're so disunited that they're not gonna meet anymore. It's so cruel, no? It's very much cruel. So they have been cursing in this way. But actually, if we think very deeply within us, all of us want to die. All of us want to actually die. And it's very strange that I'm saying this, no? But if you think deeply, whatever you create in this world, you want to destroy it. You want something better. I think that Dubai and Abu Dhabi are a perfect example of this. Just Prabhu told me that they have recreated the White Mosque 4 times. Why? We want to achieve perfection, and because this world doesn't satisfy us, we always want to destroy. And Vedic scriptures are explaining the Srishti Sthiti and Pralaya, the creation, preservation and annihilation. So we should not plan only about creation in this world. I can say for myself, I was in such illusion till this corona came. I was thinking that life is still long and young, but when corona started, I was thinking more about involution, how we should actually be more introspective and involute our powers. We think about evolution, we expand in this world, into business, into family, into so many things. But we need to be also wise and think about involution, because Pralaya will come one day. Excuse me? Yeah, Pralaya is destruction. Internalizing. Because Pralaya will come one day. Laya means destruction, annihilation. And we will be surprised, but in Vedic scriptures it's described that there is not only one type of death. There are 4 kinds of death or destructions. First one is Nitya Laya, constant destruction, because the atomic, even molecular structures are constantly changing. We see one object, but he's constantly changing. He's never the same. Things are created and things are changing and then destructed. So that is one kind. Then Nitya Naimitika, periodical. And I think that the death of material body is one of such kind. Then Nitya Naimitika, Prakritika, when there is partial devastation of universe. The water comes to the half of universe. And all gross material bodies are destroyed. In that time, the sages are going into involution. They are leaving all gross material forms and accepting only subtle forms, and preserving themselves within Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka, only in a subtle body. But even these bodies, subtle bodies, needs to be destroyed. And then this is Atyantika Laya, complete destruction even of ego. Even ego doesn't exist. Then living beings are entering into the Mahavishnu. So we should not die only once. We should die in 4 ways. The gross body, actually our identification with the world first, Nitya Laya, Naimitika Laya, with the gross body, Prakritika Laya, the subtle existence. Excuse me?
Devastation, subtle devastation.
Devastation, yes. And also absolute, Atyantika Laya, that whole our identification with matter is destroyed. Even causal body. Causal body is I want to be Ishwara and Bhoktara, controller and enjoyer. So if we work on this, that we want to destroy our causal body, then all other bodies will naturally disidentify with and they will be dissolved. In scripture is said actually that even the body of a devotee who is fully immersed in Krishna consciousness is dissolved, doesn't exist, because his mind is fully transformed and he's experiencing transcendental emotions. So we should try to completely die, all our material desires, all our material attachments, because without that we'll not be able to leave this world, because attachment will be there. So material body is going through natural phases. Jayate, Vardate, Asti, Viparinamate, Kshiyate, and finally Vinashyate. Birth, it's called Shatvikara, transformations of material body, birth, growth, maintenance or preservation, creating the fruits of children, but also the work, creating some social influence, then decay, akshiyat and vinashyat, that. So unfortunately, we are all so much engrossed, and we are very foolish, actually. We think these things will not happen. And as I have witnessed, I have also been thinking like that. Of course we know, but we have not realized. I have become so much serious about that. So much like, it's gonna happen. I had so many plans to create some publishing house, to publish some books, to spread mission of Srila Prabhupada, to spread Gurukula teachings, to create small Gurukula somewhere abroad. And how you can do that? You know, everything, when there was Corona, you think, will you live actually tomorrow? So then I have pre-oriented myself fully into essence of our tradition, completely, because we have Vaidika Vidhi, Pancharatrika Vidhi and Bhagavat Vidhi, and in Gurukula we do all three Vidhis, and all Vaishnavas should do Vaidika Vidhi, social development, community, samskaras, varnashram, occupation, work, then Pancharatrika Vidhi, deity worship, lifestyle, and atmosphere of temple, and worship in temple, festivals, all this. But Bhagavat Vidhi also, to focus on that Bhagavat Vidhi, the essence of our tradition. So we should think and try to see what is actually the essence of our tradition. There are many more things which I would like to say about the topic about the Shraddha. It is the Antyeshti is the final samskara, and it's so important because it's the seed of next life. But I would like to continue with that tradition and the Bhagavad Gita, which we supposed to follow. So,
We'll carry like this.
you think it will work? Yeah, not too far. Okay, I'll just drink a little water.
പ്രഭുവിന്റെ ക്ലാസ്
More than they can hear us.
അജിതാനന്ദ പ്രഭുവിന്റെ ലൈവ് ക്ലാസ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
Yeah. So we are so much fortunate in this Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. Just yesterday we spoke about connection with Madhvas and the differences and the similarities. No, we're so fortunate. This Karuna Avatar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he brought something that for a long time no one have got. Anarpita Chiram Charit, Chirat. For a long time he haven't given this. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was speaking with his associates or opponents, he was giving only three things always. Vastu Traya. Vastu Traya.
Vastu Traya means the real substantial understanding. Vastu means substance.
Yes, exactly. Threefold substance, Traya, threefold substance. Sambandha Gyan or Tattva, Videya Gyan and Prayojana Gyan. Just these three things, if we focus in life, we can achieve perfection. Many devotees are not inclined towards reading, but if I can just give you the essence, is this. Sambandha Gyan means to understand relationship of living being, Jiva, with Ishvara, Krishna, relationship of living being with other living beings, relationship of living being with Prakriti, with matter, and relationship of Ishvara with Prakriti. So this is in general Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan also includes the understanding of Shakti Tattva, relationship of Krishna with different kinds of energies, Prasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shruyate, and how he's tasting mellows of rasa in relationship with them. We see that he has expanded in so many innumerable varieties of energies just for one thing, to have rasa with them, to have relationship with them. Eko bhaku syam. I have been one and I have expanded into many. Why? In order to expand my bliss. He is Atmarama by his personality, fully self-satisfied, but he's also Rasamai. He wants to be engaged in relationship and expand his bliss. He wants to share his bliss with others. The more we share bliss with others, we are more blissful. But the more we want that bliss, we are not blissful actually. We are not happy. The more we want it, the less we have it. It's interesting concept of this world. The more you want it, the less you can get it. The less you want it, the more you can get it. No? Therefore, detachment is really the formula of this world. No? And you see people who are really detached, everything comes to them in life. That doesn't mean that they are inactive, but they're detached. They're satisfied. And Krishna doesn't go in relationship to get anything. He's satisfied. And therefore he doesn't get any karma because of his position of Atmarama. Because if you want something, you need to get karma. No? You need to get reaction. No? So when we're going to become Atmarama, we will not get karma. So he is engaged in such a wonderful relationship with his energies, and especially in different rasas in spiritual world. So we, as Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, should understand especially this, Bhava Tattva and Rasa Tattva. And it will help us also to understand ourselves as human beings and how to apply ourselves in daily life. But the Abhideya Tattva, how to apply that, it's with Bhakti. And the definition of Bhakti is given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Anya Bilashata Shunyam Jnana Karma Adhanamitam Anukulena Krishna Shrilam Bhakti Uttama. This is probably the most important shloka of our tradition. And it defines the love as a affection, anukulya, favorable affection, and anushilana, the affection and expression. If you just have affection for someone, it's not complete. Like husband comes from work home and Mataji says, I love you so much, but please cook dinner for us. Affection is that. She said, no, I love you. But no expression. So what is internal should be externalized. Then is complete. That is also complementarism. Internal, external, external, internal. So, but not only external also. Just like we go to some restaurant or any other service, they're gonna serve us. It's an expression, but they want something in return. Therefore, this is not definition of love, just expression. For love, you don't expect anything. Therefore, the definition of true love is there. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karma dhanavritam. Anya bilashita shunyam means that we don't have any ulterior motive. No other desire from that relationship. Jnana karma dhanavritam. We don't want any liberation from any suffering through jnana or karma to get any elevation, satisfaction in this world. And anavritam, we don't want to keep anything for ourselves. We want to practice this. And finally, the divine love, transcendental love, is for Krishna. Anukulena Krishna Shilanam means that must be for Krishna. And why is divine love only for Krishna? Because Krishna is the Paramatma of living being. He's the soul of the soul, super soul. And we, all of us, first of all, love ourselves the most because we only know our own experiences. But Krishna is the soul of the soul. We should not think that Krishna is somewhere else. Because we see that distance from Krishna. And we think that Krishna is in Goloka and we are here. But Krishna is everywhere. Sarvatra Hashyati. The one who sees me everywhere. No, he is protected. So he is the soul of the soul. If we can love ourselves the most, how much you can love the self of the self. He is more us than we are we. He is the origin of the self. So we can love him more than ourselves. It's so wonderful. So wonderful. Therefore, when we love Krishna, automatically we will start to love all other living beings. Srila Prabhupada gives a simple example that when the light of Krishna consciousness is switched on, that will immediately make everything bright everywhere. Everything everywhere. Because we will see other living beings as parts and parcels of Krishna. And that we don't have any separate interest from them. Just like devotees are so nicely cooperating. Because why is like that? Because we see that if I serve someone, that will give pleasure to Krishna. Actually, there is Aveda also. No? Many times we forget this. Madhvas, they focus on Veda to defeat Aveda. No? By reason, by purpose. No? It's not wrong. But Aveda is also there in interest. In Brahman, in interest, we are one, we want to please Krishna. So that is one thing which always captures our minds in association of devotees. That we cooperate so nicely and sacrifice our own selfish desires for the benefit of pleasure of Krishna and benefit of other Vaishnavas. So that Krishna consciousness will make everything bright. And we believe that Srila Prabhupada brought something so unique to this world that one day when people will accept this Krishna consciousness, that this will be transcendental place. It will be Satya Yoga. It will not be externally different, but people will be so kind to each other, so lovingly disposed to each other, that gonna break all differences. Now we see that people, because of different interests, they create wars, and different fights. So we believe that Srila Prabhupada have brought something very unique. And then finally, the prayojana is the prema, love of Godhead, the Panchama Purushartha. And the Vedic scriptures explain Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha as the goal, aspiration of human beings. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given something very unique and hidden, and that is love of Godhead. Therefore, all of our actions should not be to achieve any of those four, but all these four, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, will be fulfilled. Will be fulfilled. We should not think that bhakti will not fulfill our material daily needs. Because if I love someone and I want to offer some gift, I need to use my karma, my activity. I need to use some assets, some money to create some gift. So we utilize things, but they are not goals. They are just a position from which we serve further. So the essence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is that to achieve prema, and not only ordinary prema, because in Vaikuntha there is also prema, but he's giving pure unalloyed, as Srila Prabhupada defines, pure unalloyed devotional service in love of Godhead. That's Srila Prabhupada's very unique definition. And what is that? That is seen only in Vraja. Only in Vraja, because the Parakiya Bhava, the Paramor relationship with Krishna is giving such a renunciation and detachment that gopis are criticized by society for their activities. Still, they will be engaged in Krishna service. So Krishna is, as I have said, is Ishvara, is Shaktiman. and gopis are his Shakti. So he have eternal right to claim that they can be his wives. No one can say, because there is no difference. They are his expansions of Hladini Shakti. No one can say that it's inappropriate to enjoy with gopis of Vrindavan. He could create the pastimes of Swakiya Rasa, and they exist. They exist in Dwaraka, exist in Ayodhya, exist in Vaikuntha. But he was not satisfied with that. Therefore, he had created such a yoga maya that he will put the Vrajavasis in illusion that he is not God. So he is that for us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this is the highest. But God must be lover. He must be so simple and approachable, so loving that Aishwarya will be minimized. Madhurya will be prominent. In Vaikuntha, there is no proximity to God, only difference, abheda. Bheda. But in Goloka, there is abheda. Even
Krishna was eating with so many children.
Exactly. I just wanted to say. Exactly. So even some of them think they are higher than Krishna.
Yeah.
And this gives him pleasure. Actually, before Krishna consciousness, I have heard from one friend who was the cousin of a devotee that these Hare Krishnas, they believe that God can be even in your child. Who have heard something like that? And I was astonished by that. Maybe like 2 years before I became devotee, I was astonished by that. Such a nice concept, no? That you take care of God, but why would you do that? He is God, no? And then finally I realized by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by his books. So he have created such illusion that Vrajavasis are higher than him, and they can manipulate him, control him, and he enjoys that. No? And the highest is the Parakiya Bhava of Rajagopis, Vrajavatis, themselves, cowherd girls of Vrindavan. Why? Because they have renounced everything, all Vedic instructions, just to please Krishna. The shloka from Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. The best example are gopis. They abandon all varieties of dharma and just surrender unto me. I'll protect you. Don't worry. So they're the best example. And Krishna is so much impressed by their love that he decided to taste that. He's so much impressed by the love of gopis, especially Srimati Radharani, that he wanted to taste it. On one occasion, he noticed himself in a mirror of lapis lazuli on the pillar, and just like all of ourselves, we see ourselves in the mirror, and we are astonished. Oh, aho, such a great personality is there. He really being mesmerized by Madan Mohan. I'm so wonderful, so beautiful. And then he started to think, but then, what sweetness is Srimati Radharani seeing in myself? This is the origin of Madan Mohan thinking. What sweetness, Madhurya, she sees in me? What attracts her into me as a Cupid, transcendental Cupid, Kamadeva? What love she had for me? That is the origin of Govinda. And what bliss she is experiencing while serving and loving me. Origin of Gopinath. So he was so much impressed by these three that he decided to appear as none else than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Parama Purusha wants to experience the experience of his Swarup Prakriti, internal energy. So he appeared just to taste this, transformed just to taste this. So he is appearing as Karuna Avatar. It's very interesting, this perception of a feminine, the Prakriti, is more satisfying. It's giving more pleasure. Because if someone is, for example, enacting drama, the audience is enjoying more. And Krishna is the enactor, is the Vishaya of all pastimes, but the Ashraya of love is Srimati Radharani. And he wants to taste that. And sometimes it is said, you will be surprised, that the pinnacle of rasa and the mellows rasa is not Vrindavan. And this is what I want to say. It's Mayapur.
Yeah.
Why? Because if we taste the Vraja rasa, we'll see that Krishna over there was not fully satisfied. Because they were enjoying more. So in Vraja rasa is like a green mango. And in Mayapur is like a pakka mango. Fully ripened. Because Krishna have enjoyed that mango of the juice, amras of Srimati Radharani and Gopis in full bliss and with full taste. So
Mayapur is also inside Vrindavan, no?
it is, but it's also special. It's there's Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying there is a Eka Tattva, one and unique Tattva, but there is one difference in rasa. It's in the Sera Prakash Veda. Only is different in rasa, Vraja rasa and Kirtan rasa of Mayapur. Nowadays, yes. So he have appeared just to taste that rasa sar, the essence of all rasa. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita he said that Anarpita Chiram Chirat Karunavatirna Kalau Unatojvala rasa, I'm forgetting some words, Unatojvala rasa Swa Bhaktim Shriyam. He came to give Unatojvala rasa, the highest Ujvala or conjugal love for himself, Swa Bhakti Shriyam. And he have given something which no incarnation have given before. For a long time, many avatars were there. Dash avatars, innumerable avatars, like a waves in an ocean. But no one have given this Ragatmika Bhakti, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. He's saying, Prema Rasa Niryasa, Korite Asvadana, Ragamarga Bhakti, Loke Korite Acharana. He appeared to taste Asvadana, Prema Rasa Niryasa, the essence of mellows, of love of Godhead. Prema Rasa Niryasa, Ragamarga Bhakti, Loke Korite Acharana. To preach this to Loka, to people. So we sometimes stuck with our rules and regulations and don't understand the essence. So it's very important to understand this. Otherwise, we think, why I'm doing all this? It's so dry. It is not that we should artificially just adopt Raga Marga. There is Vaidhi Marga, which should bring us and purify our heart by all rules and regulations. But we should know that this Vaidhi Marga is meant just to bring us closer to highly elevated sadhus who already have that in their hearts. Vaidhi Marga cannot create Raga Marga. Vaidhi Marga cannot bring you to Goloka. Because it's full of rules and regulations, and the mood of Goloka is completely different. Vaidhi Marga can bring you to Vaikuntha, and Raga Marga only to Goloka. So, but why we then perform all these rules and regulations? Why we don't just go, jump here and enter pastimes or just to listen? It's because anyway we cannot follow it. Because Raga doesn't mean you neglect rules. Raga means you understand the rules. Excuse me?
Discipline.
Discipline, you understand the purpose. You do things which please Krishna. Things which are... Is a problem? No? Okay. You do things which are pleasing to Krishna. Then, when we come to that level of Raga, we will understand why we have really performed all these rules and regulations. The Vedic lifestyle is so elaborate. And if you just go into that, it will not give you that Raga, but it will bring you to a level of Brahman, Brahma Bhuta, and you will feel that you are purified and that you are ready to be engaged in devotion. So Gita is saying, Brahma Bhuta Prasana, Na Shochati, Na Kamshati, Samasarveshu Bhuteshu, Mad Bhakti Labhate. In that state, we achieve Bhakti. Mad Bhakti Labhate Param. At that state, Bhakti. Because if there is attachment and all these things, no Bhakti. Therefore, we perform Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, but to purify our heart. And then we go to sadhu, and here we want to achieve that. And the most, how to say, elevated sadhu or intimate sadhu was Srila Rupa Goswami, because he understood the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Svapadantika. He have understood the innermost desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Manobishtam. Manobishtam Stapitam. Here, I will say. He have understood the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is very difficult. Sri Chaitamrita is explained. You have so many grave personalities in this world. Grave, you cannot, it's in Rasa Shastra explained, they are Karkasha. Komala and Karkasha living beings. Komala, they are soft-hearted in the sense that they easily show their emotions, and Karkasha is very difficult to understand. And Lord Chaitanya was Karkasha. It's difficult to understand his emotions. So he have understood his mind. In Ratha Yatra, he was dancing and reciting one verse from Sahitya Darpana, explaining the separation of gopis. And Rupa Goswami have heard this verse, and he wrote, as being Kavi, he wrote another verse explaining the same point. He gave to Swarup Damodar, and he gave to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And over there, he have been astonished. Oh, how he understood my mind. He was very pleased with him. And I have appeared for this, to experience the Radha Bhava. So then he asked all Vaishnavas to bless him to write Vaishnava literature that and establish the eternal religious principles of Raga Marga. And Srila Rupa Goswami then have wrote many books, and acharyas in the line have all been in that mood of re-establishing Rupa Nuga, following the Narottam Das Thakur, the Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, the Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami is very close associate of Rupa Goswami, because in spiritual world, I mean, in Gora Lila is also spiritual world, no? But in Krishna Lila, they are Rupa Manjari, very close associate of Srimati Radharani, and Raghunath Das Goswami is Rati Manjari, the servant of Rupa Manjari. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita as well, Rupa Raghunatha Padaya, he said that Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, who is Kasturi Manjari, is glorifying these two. He always wants to attain the lotus feet of them. So all these acharyas have established the same thing of following the Rupa Goswami. If you see Pranam Mantra or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it's always Rupa Nuga Varayate. Virudhapas. And finally, Srila Prabhupada, as you mentioned, is also following in that path of being Rupanuga. Therefore, he has given us two main books. Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Nectar of Instruction of Padmasambhava. Without these two books, you cannot understand even Gita. You can understand by Srila Prabhupada's purports, but how have Rupa Goswami explained Krishna? Because in Gita, Krishna is saying Daivi Prakriti, but what means Daivi Prakriti? Then you can see in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu the mood of Srimati Radharani, Daivi Prakriti. So it's such an amazing book. And Srila Prabhupada have given us this as essence. Srila Prabhupada is Rupanuga. We as followers of Srila Prabhupada are also Rupanugas. The Rupanugas by itself are Raganugas. And therefore we should know the essence of that path and how properly exhibit our sadhana and please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and finally achieve Krishna Prema by his mercy. Without mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's not possible to achieve Raja Prema and the associates of Krishna. So it's coming through Guru Parampara. We should try to properly understand and always relish, try to please Guru, tries to please Vaishnavas in a proper way and share among ourselves. Many other things I would like to say, but I think it's maybe getting late. So thank you so much for your kind attention. And, maybe there is some question. It's already 9:30.
This material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So here we are living in this 84 lakh species are here. So the same will be there also. No? All the species will be there in the spiritual world.
Oh, I believe more than that. More unlimited varieties. Unlimited varieties.
There will not be any enmity.
Excuse me?
Here, this enmity is there. One species to other species. There it will not be any enmity. They are all
between species.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice point. In many religious traditions want to understand this. No enmity between species. Because the lion is eating a lamb or
all the spiritual world, the lion will not eat.
Because it's very much different than the spiritual world. You don't need to be in contact with the sense object to relish it. In this world, you need to be. Therefore, so much greed is there. You need to touch it or taste it or see it to enjoy it. But over there, you don't need to be in that touch. Remembrance is also enough to satisfy. It's very long to explain this, so I'm not.
Because we have seen the picture when Mahaprabhu was going to Jharkhand. The animals are on one side, all the both
yes.
like tigers and the deer, they all dancing together.
Yes. That means that they have achieved that. They have achieved that swarupa within themselves. They have achieved that perfection, although they are dancing in the sadhana there. But within themselves, they became realized. He said that the person who is on the level of bhava, he can communicate with all living beings, even animals. They're so kind. Dhira, jana priya. So dear, priya.
We heard that sometimes the snakes also they will move away from the caves when some sadhus goes inside.
Yes.
Because they speak probably.
Yes. And we see that devotees are also some devotees. And when I see devotees of this world, sadhaka bhaktas, so dear. I have been in some uncomfortable situations, but things were sorted so nicely that people ask you, "Where are you from? What's wrong with you?" But I believe that everyone had this experience. No? What's wrong with you? No? Because we are not normal. We are abnormal. So because we don't have that in our hearts anymore, that we want that interest from someone. We want to exploit someone. So no exploitation of others. Therefore, people appreciate and like to be in the proximity of the devotees. I remember my Vartmata Darsha Guru. I fall in love with his personality immediately. How he loved and served everyone, and how everyone loved him also because of that, all devotees, immediately. So probably because of that, no kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsaya. So the nature of some being can be there, but is not in kama, is in prema. The illusion is kama, and prema is reality. In kama we want to enjoy the sense objects, but in prema we want to satisfy sense objects. In kama we see sense objects as lower than us, therefore we want to enjoy them. We see as a predator, we see opportunity, I can enjoy here and there. No? But in prema we don't want that.
Here this five rasas are there. So in what consciousness the different species manifest in the spiritual world when a living being go to spiritual world?
Sorry?
The different five rasas are there. So this in that species manifest in the spiritual world different. All are in spiritual form, but how they get in suppose Sandarasa is get like grass or some other trees or some other species, how it gets transformed.
You see, even in spiritual world, human form is very much appreciated because it gives opportunity to express the rasa the most. And here is also like that. Animals, they cannot express themselves so much. Some animals, they have developed one sense. Touch, one, cannot see, no nose, cannot smell. So it's difficult to express rasa. No? So the human form is also appreciated over there because it's a possibility to express that rasa in the highest way. But some animals, they have mix of rasas. Like for example, cow. It is serving Krishna is dasi rasa. It is vatsalya rasa. It's like a mother. So it's mix also. They can achieve some of these mixes. No? Trees, shantarasa, no? But giving fruit, having loving affection for Krishna. So, but they feel satisfied in their own rasa. Of course, the Madhura rasa gives the highest pleasure, but we should not think that this Shanta rasa, Dasya, Sakya, or Vatsalya, they are lower. They're lower in some sense, but they don't feel that they're lacking anything. They don't feel they're lacking because excuse me?
They are associated with the Lord.
Yes. And in Madhura rasa intensity, actually intimacy is there more. But intensity of relationship is with all other rasas. And just one very interesting thing I'll tell you about, because I have read from Jiva Goswami. I think we shared yesterday. Yeah, it's astonishing. You know, sometimes we hear that Goloka is the biggest planet in spiritual world, is the highest. And we expect that there, how many Vaishnavas you would say that there is there?
Unlimited.
Unlimited, no? It's not true. You know how many are there? Approximately 6,000. Then Abu Dhabi is bigger. Avataridesh is bigger. No.
Maybe they will all be dancing in different groups in different places.
The intimacy of a village is lost if, excuse me, I just need to exchange a little bit. It's okay. Intimacy of village Vraja is lost if there is unlimited number of devotees. Not only unlimited, even a high number of devotees, like city. City is already 10,000 people, you can say it's a town and city and like that. So not to lose that intimacy, whenever the lila reaches the perfection, all these nitya parikaras, nitya siddhas, they expand into another forms to relish the another mellow of another lila. So the jivas who are sadhana siddhas, they get opportunity to enter in one of these newly created lokas, go-lokas. So it's a village. Everyone knows everyone and everything about everyone. No? That intimacy is there. And the rumors are there. In this world, this Prajalpa is so detrimental, and we always say we should not speak Prajalpa. But in Goloka, only Prajalpa. Oh, she did like this. She did like that, and this gopi, that gopa is doing like this. Krishna is doing this, and Krishna Katha is constantly going in a form of Prajalpa. Prajalpa and also others, Vijalpa, Atijalpa, I'm forgetting. There are many described in Vaishnava scriptures, and they are speaking in these ways. It's more like a casual talk, and they see, oh, what Krishna did like that. Here we follow Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we do Bhagavad Shravan, and we sit and speak about Krishna. But over there they sit naturally. They go to pasturing fields, and then the elder gopis, they think, oh, what's going on with them? Yeah, speaking, creating the butter, creating the mishti doi or whatever, and then speaking about them and like that. Sorry, I just little expanded. So like that, it's a village. Therefore, to live in a village is very suiting. And we should know whatever we have here in our heart, we are going with that. So we need to achieve the spiritual mood, so that our mentality is suiting to be there. If it's not suiting, we are not going there. No? Otherwise, you go there and then you are quarreling with others or whatever, and you're not interested. You will feel dissatisfied, and they will need to send you back. Go to ISKCON, go to Srila Prabhupada, they're going to teach you. They will tell you like this. Really? Go, this Rupa. It happened, and I'm not joking actually, it happened to Satyabhama, happened to Uddhava. Go to Rupa Goswami. Satyabhama is Jagadananda Pandit. Because she didn't taste Vraja Rasa. She's in Baraka, Mahishi, queen. In Aishwarya, she serves Krishna. And she needed to take birth in Gora Lila and learn from Rupa Goswami. So like that, so they will send you to ISKCON, Vaishnava Sabha, Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabha. So best place, like Gop Kumar was going here and there, then so go to Gokul. So ISKCON should be like a Gokul. Sorry, I have expanded so much. Maybe I can continue, but maybe someone else has another question. Is there some other question? Or otherwise, we'll continue.
How about the Shastra study student so much now? So you're teaching as a student. But according to us, out inclination. Suppose we will lose the discontinuity in the study.
Instant.
After that book, after next year only we'll open.
Excuse me? After?
We'll suppose we stop the book middle of the reading. We discontinue for say 1 or 2 months.
Oh.
Maybe it will happen in the next year only.
Thank you for admitting.
No, like that condition we have.
Ah.
So how to make that, bring the continuity?
I have no idea, honestly. I think I am just crazy a little bit for these books, therefore I do like that. It's just my tendency. My tapas in this life is to svadhyaya, to study books, and I see. Of course, chanting the holy name and like that, but I see, because in my chart, in astrological chart, I have Shani in 5th house. 5th house is education. Shani is ascetic, disciplined person, so I like to be disciplined in this. Sometimes I even don't take bath, I open laptop and I first read things and then I go to take bath, and before I go to sleep I start, and I feel tendency and how to say, it's my moral value. How you can do it, I don't know, you should taste something there. I used to read to understand, just to understand, but tattva, this, that, but that doesn't give complete satisfaction. It's useful, but we need to relish what is in these books. So if you can find the book as a medium to relish, then it's fine. And you can also use audiobooks if you want to create taste. So the thing is to create taste, ruchi for hearing. Doesn't need to be reading. No? Some people are learned just by hearing. For example, King Akbar in India, he was illiterate, but very learned. By hearing, he learned many things. He had many scholars that would come and narrate for him. Nowadays, it can be narrated to us constantly. You have many, all Srila Prabhupada's books read by Amala Bhakta Swami, and you can hear constantly. So if someone tells me I'm not scholar, I cannot read like this, it's not fair. It means you don't have a tendency to hear and taste. Many times I'm arguing this with people that, but not everyone can read, But if someone is really becoming devotee, he will create such a qualification to read and hear. Means that we are lacking something in our bhakti. We don't want to relish it. That is the point. So no one can say, "Oh, I don't have tendency to read. I cannot read." But as devotees, we're gonna create that tendency. Just like someone is by nature Brahmana, he can do deity worship, yagyas, everything, yeah, by varna. But some devotee is not by varna Brahmana, but because he is devotee, he will worship deities better. So if someone is devotee, he will read better, he will hear better. It doesn't need to be Brahmana. No? There was that Brahmana, Shiranda, Lord Chaitanya have met him, and he was looking actually at the book upside down, and then everyone was laughing, but he was relishing one point. So if you can relish like him, then we'll always be absorbed in reading. This story doesn't tell us not to read. The stories tell us to read properly. And slowly then develop that taste for it, or hearing. There are many ways I can share with devotees some materials for them, how to properly study, and it's traditional. There is traditional ways of studying, but not to prolong it. To establish. I'll share with Prabhu, and you can share with other devotees. Many other things are there. Thank you.
Sorry,
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
A small question, probably you have clearly explained about Navadip Dham, that it is right by go like right.
personally, I'm reading Srila Prabhupada's books like Terasana Siddho or Nectar of Devotion, or whenever we read that book, Srila Prabhupada is Noi, Nectar of Devotion. So Vrindavan Dham is being glorified in all those texts by Srila Prabhupada, which we usually read, which has been translated by our Srila Prabhupada. And we have also heard that Navadvip is not different from Vrindavan. And you also now mentioned about that. Even Navadvip is little more.
In one sense,
In one
yes.
sense. So how we can develop that faith in that statement that Navadvip is not different from Vrindavan. Secondly, how we can develop that love for Mahaprabhu.
I don't have it actually. I'm just the semblance of that. I don't have that. I'm just a shadow of of those residents in Mayapur. But I see that many devotees are focusing on Radha Krishna and skipping this point of Gora Tattva, Gora Lila. But it's inappropriate. It's written in Navadvip Dhamma. If you jump to Braja, rasa will become virasata. The taste will become tasteless. So we must go through Gora. And Gora, it is said, when we reach the maturity in Dasya Rasa to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, means to serve his mission, Harinam Sankirtan movement, being so much loyal, then we will be able to relish properly Madhurya Rasa. Nityananda Prabhu was taking Jiva Goswami around Mayapur, Navadvip, and then he achieved perfection of Gora Prema. He was rolling on ground, dancing with Nityananda Prabhu. And he said, then what is now use of going to Vrindavan? And then he said, you're right actually. There is no actually even a need to go there. But there is that big difference in rasa. Beda, Rasara Prakash Beda. The Madhurya rasa is expressed there. So that slight difference to taste, they said that Vrindavan is Rasa Adara, the storehouse of rasa. And Krishna is relishing that Sarva Rasa Sara. So, so that Rasa Adara, the storehouse of rasa, we want to finally achieve. But we need to achieve through Gora. But there was one very special point there. Yes, we hear these things about that he's non-different, but we don't believe that actually. Even if we read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Krishna Shyamasundar is original, and Srimati Radharani is no different from him. Ek Atma, Dui Deha. So they are one in soul but two bodies. But they have united in Gaura Sundar. So Shyama Sundar, Gaura Sundar, no different. But this is not within time. So Gaura Sundar is original form of God. Same like Shyama Sundar. Never think that he is not. When you read, there is in Upanishads, there is a God with golden form, and effulgence of Brahman is just his radiance. It is Gauranga. But it's a Gupta Tattva, it's hidden. It is himself. It is original God. It's same like Shyama Sundar. So until we have this faith and understanding, we are not properly understood Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So we need to study these things and approach Mayapur to approach Vraja. Have I answered all your points? You had 2 or 3 points. If not, please tell me.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Narottam Das actually expands a very beautiful point in establishing this particular aspect which says. He composes in his beautiful song, Gavangira Titipada, where he speaks about this. Gavangira Sangigane, Nitya Siddha Purimani, Sejai Brajendra Sudavas, Sri Gaura Mandala Bhumi, Javajani Chintahani, Tara Boy Brajabhumivas. So, unless you really taste Gaura Tattva, you just cannot taste Brajatattva at all. It is the sole proprietary right of the Gaura Tattva to actually unveil what is Brajatattva. So, one who has very limited understanding and only just has an attraction to the Brajatattva and has no taste for Gaura Tattva, actually he's cheating himself. That's what Narottam Das actually speaks about. And that's a very interesting point.
Yes.
So one who actually understands that, then, and he also explains this point. Gaura Prema Rasarnali, Setaranga Jevadu means the ocean of the mellows of Gauranga. One who understands that. Setaranga Jevadu. When he's drowning himself in that. Se Radha Madhava Antaranga. He is actually the confidential servants of Sri Radha Madhava. Grihe Bhavane Thake, Har Gauranga Bole Thake. Only then, whether in any kind of an order, of social order or your spiritual order, only then you can actually experience. And thereby Narottama says, Mage Tare Sangha. Mean for such type of associates, he actually is very much anxious about it. So this question arises only when we see that Gaura Tattva is something very different than the Tattva or the aspect. So in relationship with that, unless and until one relishes what is Gaura Tattva, he has no clue of what is Vajatattva. Externally, it is just someone else thinking. Ironically, it appears to us because Vajatattva happened first and then the Gaura Tattva is happening.
Yes.
So we consider that more important. But we are not seeing the cyclic order, how things become, what do you call it, unveiled. So that aspect is what we should see. Normally, what we do, we want the latest model, correct? Am I right? So the latest model is Gaura. We don't understand that, and we are going for orthodox previous ones. So Gaura is right now here. He's an orthodox. I mean, he's the latest model. So the same Lord who is there in Braja is coming here in Navadvip as the latest model, and he says this is what it is. So what you should be attracted with. Gaura, I mean, the Gaura Leela is the full option model. It's a full option model. So one should actually understand that. Instead of that, you just go for a, like a cranking wheel and then you start to work through it. You become primitive.
Thank you for sharing. Just since you mentioned model, I'll use this word. Lord Chaitanya said he's appearing to exemplify, to be a model of a bhakti. Apani Achari Bhakti Shikano Savare. He appeared to exhibit, teach. In order to teach, first I need to practice myself. Apani Achari Bhakti Shikano. So it's a model. Very nice word. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, for really unleashing this beautiful understanding of Raja. One of the questions Prabhu was asking, and he was also trying to reflect on that, was that what would be the kind of engagement for these different species who go into the spiritual world? I was just thinking on this on an aspect, like maybe whether he joined a little late or probably missed out this point. Prabhu began his lecture talking about saying that what did Brahma do for the living entities over here to be in this material world? He created the 5 kinds of avidya, and in reflections of that we rotate around here, and then we carry the same kind of a feeling to the spiritual world, and we're trying to see how it will look like. Okay? So
Yes, it is. Wow, such a nice psychology. Thank you so much. It is true, actually.
So because of that, we carry, it's like we are supposed to drop the baggage here and walk free. Instead of that, we carry the whole baggage up and then say, can we also keep it with us?
Yes.
That's where we lose the whole thing.
Yes.
So we should be very careful in what we are actually asking. This is actually a lesson. What we're trying to look for is actually a lesson. We don't want to go to Krishna, instead we want to pull him to us.
Yeah.
So when we do that, we make these mistakes.
Yes. One thing I also said that we don't want to achieve moksha. To go to Krishna is desire to achieve moksha. This loving separation is so unique that because some Vaishnavas, they want to achieve Sarupya, Salokya, Samitya, Sarshti. We don't want even this. We don't want to go to Goloka, actually. That's not goal. Because if you want that, then it's still burden. It's not moksha. Yes, Prema Pumarto Mahan, yes. And then prema in separation. We don't want to go there, because if you want some service in proximity of Krishna, means that you want liberation still, which is completely opposite to bhakti. I don't want to suffer, I want to go to Goloka. To go to Goloka is a side effect, side result of prema. So not to take that burden, we can achieve only by really practicing that bhakti in separation.
Yeah, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in his 4th verse of Shikshastakam, Avatad Bhakti Rahita Ki Tvai, how? Janmani Janmanishwara. He never says, okay, one janma, finish it, and that's the end of the story.
Yes.
But he's asking, I want to continue the service, and thereby I don't want to liberation, I don't want to go back to you. When the Krishna says, come to me, he says, no, just like our Prahlad, what will I do coming to your place? Let me see that, ensure that every rascal from this world is actually delivered. So that's Ahitaki, right? To engage in the service of the highest occupation. And that's what actually Krishna is empowering his devotees.
No, but can you please continue one more lecture? Yes, one more hour extra. Yes.
Can I become a Dutta?
What is this?
Dutta means a rascal.
No, never.
It is so relishing.
Yes, very much.
Yes. This is what is the essence, Shastra Arthavada. It is like always discussing the essence of the Shastras. The different aspects.
Yes.
So kind of you, Prabhu.
Thank
you for being the Pastors Association.
you.